everybody. We're
Hello.
back. We're back from PAX.
Yes, we are.
From sunny Seattle. It was actually really sunny there. It just
Very
never
sunny.
happens.
For me, it always happens. Each time I go there, it's very sunny.
You bring the sun with you
Yeah,
everywhere?
yeah, that's what I do.
It's an ego right there. Roman is not with us today. He is across the sea. He's working, but he's not with us.
No.
He's in Europe. But we have Damian, and it doesn't matter because today's show is not a Roman-focused one anyway. We've got a new mode that we just announced yesterday called Tribute. So we're going to be sitting with the designers of the mode, going all in on everything you need to know about it. We're going to show you the live gameplay premiere of Tribute so you can really see for yourself what it's all about. It is not simply a capture the flag mode. It is not simply an all assassins, shinobis win everything mode. We're going to get into it, so hold your thoughts and judgment until then. But before then, as always, we do the news.
Yes, we do.
And Damien's here to join me for that. So there's been a few things this week actually in the tournament beta. On Tuesday, we did a big thing, which was basically socializing the we're bringing socialism to tournaments mode. No, the ranking distribution was very off.
Yeah, it was very off. So if I can go back to the numbers, we had, so it was based on player distribution in a public test on PC, and also what we were looking on what we call casual playlists, so an unranked playlists. And what we wanted to have is 20% in bronze, 20% in silver, 30% in gold, 20% in platinum, and 10% in diamond. That's what is in the menus of the game, that's what we showcase, and that's what we wanted to have. After 2-3 weeks of tournaments, we were at 0.5 players in bronze, 1% in diamond, 8.5 in silver, 16% in plat, and everybody else in gold. So it's like 74% of our players were in gold. So you can imagine that for the players that were in gold, they were finding tournaments in a few seconds, and they were playing with a lot of players. And players in bronze and diamonds were having a very, very hard time to find players to play, and also to rank up or.
So basically our best players and our newest players were having the hardest time.
Yeah. And it was also impacting gold players because there were so many in gold that it was super hard for them to move to rank up or rank down, basically to move within the divisions. So we redid like what we call a photo of the whole player rank and redistributed everyone. So it's like it impacted, I think, 90% of our player base. Half of them went down, half of them went up. To have something closer to our design, but adapted also to the current player ranking. So we don't want it to force the design based on where the player were. So now we have something a better spread. We have around 10% of our player base in bronze and in diamond, around 20% in silver and platinum. It's 21 in silver, it's 25 in platinum, and 34 in gold.
Cool.
And we think it's way more accurate to what we wanted. So what will it do? What is the impact for the players? They should have a better matchmaking time. It's still longer than any other activity because we're looking for more players. We're looking for players of a rank close to you, so we're more,
a lot more constraints.
Yeah, more constrained than in a casual play. So you wait more, but you should have a higher quality of matches and a better moment, basically. And so better matchmaking time. Also, with the redistribution, it's also kind of normalized the number of points you need to go up or down within each division. So normally the progression should feel better within your rank. So it's also a feedback we'd like to get. But those are the two big consequences of that. And you should also match less against the same players and things like that.
So we'll continue to keep an eye on that, especially we probably will still see some of those like, oh, I lost a match and lost 100-something%, but that should be way less than it was.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to look at that and see what's going on.
Exactly.
But you also mentioned, which kind of leads us into the other thing we did for tournaments.
Yeah.
You mentioned the time involved in playing tournament. Specifically, we were talking about matchmaking, but that led us to having another look at the steel rewards.
Yeah. So steel rewards in tournament are on top of normal steel reward that you get at each end of the match.
Right.
But we still wanted to give you a bit more steel if you engage into tournaments. So we looked back at the time played on tournament and re-evaluated the amount we give. So basically we doubled the amount of steel and more than doubled in some cases.
Right.
But now it's 100 steel if you win a tournament, and it's 60 steel if you lose after the qualifications.
Right, and then in between.
And then in between it's spread.
Well.
Yeah.
Yep, that's cool. And you've also mentioned you can complete dual orders while playing tournaments.
Yeah, of course. So some people are requesting, hey, why don't we have orders for tournaments? Basically, all dual orders are compatible with tournaments.
Right.
So it's also something you can do. We're also looking at the XP for tournaments, things like that. So what we did with steel, we might do it for other currencies. Yeah. So it's something the team is looking into.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea, the tournament-specific orders.
Yeah.
But we've discussed it a few times internally, and like one of the big things you mentioned is we still have because it's still in beta. We have the thing where people with red nats cannot participate until we introduce routers. I almost said routers. So we wouldn't want to move to creating new orders or anything like that, especially in a world where.
And also we don't want to force. So it's something we had before. So before we had orders when you played PvP. Orders when you played PvAI, so we're saying, hey, now go play PvAI, and we didn't have really good feedback about that from the community. They were like, yeah, but I want to play what I want to play and be rewarded for that. So having dual orders compatible with tournaments, non-tournaments, is, I think, a better way to do it. I'm not saying we'll never do tournament orders, but I just think it's not the priority right now.
And the other last thing that we're looking at related to rewards that we know people have given us a lot of feedback on is when you are rewarded an ornament, sometimes it's not for the hero that you are.
It's random, basically.
Yeah, it's a random selection.
Yeah, it's a feedback we already got during a public test. Not that easy to fix, to be honest, because you can play all different heroes during the whole tournament. So what are the rules, etc. It's also a good way to not deplete everything right away. So it's still something we're looking at, but not that easy to fix.
Okay. So that is, but I just wanted to start with the tournament stuff because we launched it as a beta on purpose because it is a beta. So these are sort of the types of things we were expecting to be tweaking after we launched because you can only do certain things with the real live data. I said it instead of him. And that's just an example of that. So improving it as we go along. Yeah.
So send us feedback. Tell us if you think it's better, waiting time are better, if you think progression feels better.
Yeah. If you took a break from it because you were frustrated, jump back in this weekend and see if you like the way it's feeling now. Cool. Also happening, actually it started today. This is a thing people liked last time we did it. We're doing another Realistic Dominion event. It's a week long. I don't know if it was a week long last time. Was it? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
This one is a week long, so it's going from now until September 21st. We have an image even if you wanted to put that up. September 21st, so that's next week at 8 a.m. And the rules are, if you didn't participate in it last time, is no gear stats, no guard stance widget, no feats even, and only one revive. I didn't know the no feats thing. Jeez.
Yeah.
Brutal. And if you want to access it, as it said on the image there, you go to the world map and then you go to the events playlist, and that's where you can
I think there are
find
feats. I think there were no feats in elimination, but
I'm
not sure for Dominion.
Yeah, I think you're
we
right.
have feats in Dominion.
I think it was feats.
Yeah.
But all good. Jump in there. Yeah, maybe I have information about elimination here, huh? And maybe that's a thing that we'll do. Realistic elimination sometime?
Maybe we did it already.
Good stuff. Hey, you know what? I want to announce what our next public test is.
Yes, you want?
I'd want to do that.
Okay, let's do it.
So, our next public test is next week, starting a week from today, next Thursday, the 21st. I don't know why I tried to think of that and close my eyes. I have it on my paper here. Starting next Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 1 p.m. UTC. That public test, what is the purpose of it, Damien?
I don't know. What would we want to test right now?
What's new in For Honor? We're going to be testing Tribute Mode. So Tribute Mode, which you're going to see today, and the designers are going to tell you this is a thing that they want test feedback on a number of different variables in it and rules and timings and stuff like that. So we are launching the Tribute Mode PTS next Thursday. It is PC only. Console friends, I know. It's just so much easier to do things on PC. We are still looking at doing PTSs on console when we can, but just understand it's a whole other thing on console to make it happen. But we're still working on that. So here's the details. Starts on the 21st, ends on the 25th. You play and Steam, just to be clear, if you're on PC.
Yeah.
You can start preloading on the 19th, I believe, on Uplay only. I don't know if Steam does preload. And it's just going to be in your library. If you are a current For Honor player, you own For Honor, then you will see the PTS in your library as a separate item. You just go there to play it. If you happened to see yesterday, there was a prompt on Steam specifically to download an 11 gigabyte update to the PTS 2 build. Don't do it.
No.
It's a thing that the team was doing because they had to test some stuff. Don't download that 11 gig build. Wait till next week when we actually push the PTS build to download, because I don't want you having to multiple times download 11 gigs. So apologies for that if that screwed you over. It was a thing for testing. But that's exciting. We've already done 2 public tests.
Yeah.
The feedback was super helpful for the team, as you saw from tournaments, as well as the defensive meta that we did. Really, really helpful. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. Hope you're looking forward to it, too. You'll look forward to it even more once you see the mode in action in a few minutes. So check that out next week. And last but not least, before we get into Tribute, our new content of the week. This is a collection of emotes. The original 12 heroes are getting a cool thing called Coin Toss,
Yeah, that's really
which
cool.
I've already seen some good reactions to. The Season 2 characters are getting combat emotes, and the Season 3 characters are getting kind of, I don't even know how to categorize them. Let's just watch the video and you can see. These are 7,000 steel each. Let's check it out, and we'll be back with our designers. There's your new emotes. They're available now. And now we're here to talk about Tribute Mode. I am joined by Guillaume Couture, famous Quebec history people. It's actually on his arm. I've learned all about this man since I've moved here. It's fascinating. And Stéphane Brochu. So these are two of the designers working on Tribute Mode. And before we dive into everything, we have a trailer to show you in case you missed it. So let's check out the trailer for Tribute.
Tribute is a 4v4 multiplayer objective game mode. As a tribute match begins, teams will race to grab the 3 offerings that are dispersed across the battlefield. Players will need to do whatever it takes to make their way back hastily to one of their team's 3 shrines with an offering in hand. Each shrine bestows a unique blessing on the whole team that is activated once an offering has been successfully claimed. Offensive buff, defensive buff, and awareness buff. Therefore, players may strategically choose which blessing to activate by placing an offering at the designated shrine. As the battle for the offerings heats up, players will fight opponents to steal or keep the offerings. Everything can change in an instant, making vigilance, speed, and communication your greatest skills. When your team successfully claims all 3 offerings, a countdown will begin, and you will fight to defend your shrines. If you can outlast, victory is yours.
And that first look is now. Okay, so tell us about Tribute. This is a 4v4 objective mode, which is what people have been thirsting for.
Yes.
Another objective mode.
They wanted another objective mode. We wanted a mode that was as fast as possible, that had a lot of momentum shift, a lot of tactical choices instead of strategic choices. We wanted something also that you could lose really, really badly. Like it could be down to 3-0 and you're in win confirm. And Guillaume will talk about win confirm more in a few seconds. And you can steal the flag at the last second and turn it around and win the match a few minutes later. So and we've heard like, oh, it looks like capture the flag. There are offerings that you're bringing back to your base, but it's not capture the flag. It's not a score-based match. It's you have to hold them. So you need to slot them back into your shrines. But it's not only about taking them to your shrine, it's about keeping them. So that's the important part. And so we played around with a lot of little details along those lines, but from the start, that was the core idea for us.
So it wasn't simply, okay, go make a capture the flag mode?
No.
Okay.
No, that's never really the way it works, actually, on For Honor. Usually, Damien and Roman will come up to us and say, we want a new mode, go, pitch, propose stuff. And so we make a lot of different things and we throw it up, and sometimes they love it, sometimes they like it a little less. But the thing that was fun with Tribute is that we actually had a prototype quite quickly. It took us about a week to make the prototype, and we showed it, and right away it was like, this is cool. And the other reason we didn't want to call it Capture the Flag is that a certain someone, when we told them it was going to be Capture the Flag, played it and was like, I don't understand what's going on. This is not Capture the Flag. I'm confused.
It's definitely not Capture the Flag.
And we said, okay, then forget about it. This is not Capture the Flag. We'll find a different name and we'll find a different way of expressing it.
Yeah.
And suddenly, when people understand that that it looks like Capture the Flag,
right.
It meows like a cat, it acts like a cat, but it's not a cat. They go, oh, it's a dog, and it's like, okay, so it's its own creature, so it's a lot of fun.
It's a liger. It's
yes.
like
it's a liger.
lion,
Yes.
Tiger.
I'm trying to stay away from food metaphor. I mean, I make way too many food metaphors, so
many.
Yes.
So many.
Cool. I heard sort of you've iterated on a few different ideas.
Yes.
Even as many as 5 different offerings instead of the 3 that you settled on.
So every once in a while, it's very important for us to listen to what other team members say, and when everybody plays, the kind of feedback we had. And there was some fears about having 3 offerings and 3 flags and how much spawn camping, not spawn camping, but camping you could do, like just turtling back to keep them. Mm-hmm. And so we played with the idea of having 5 offerings instead of 3 offerings and have them staggered throughout the match. And for some reason, it didn't work. And I think the core reason it didn't work is that it took away the value of holding any individual offering. It suddenly became, well, I don't care if you have 2 because there's 2 more that are coming, and so now we're tied. And it kind of broke the dynamic we wanted.
Right.
And the other key thing that's different from the capture the flag, actually, now that for some reason I was forgetting about it, is the whole concept of blessings.
Right.
So it's not just grabbing one and putting it on any of the shrines that you have, shrines being your bases. It's about choosing which one, because we have, and we've played and we iterated with that a lot, and Guillaume can talk to you about it a little bit more in detail. So each of the shrines have a different blessing that they grant to the entire team. So for example, right now in the game we have the Vindicator blessing, which is a defensive blessing. We have the Guardian blessing, which is a defensive blessing, and we have the Oracle blessing, which is an awareness blessing. Playing with those 3 and choosing which one to give to your entire team at the beginning is super important. And the reverse is also true. It's like you have Guardian and you have the Vindicator. Which one do I steal first if I have a chance to steal one of the offerings? Because it's going to change the momentum of the game. It's going to make it tougher or easier for me to be able to win. Right. So that's the thing that we iterated on the most, actually, is finding the correct balance of offering and not destroying the mode or suddenly having something that was a no-brainer.
Right.
We want to make sure that it is a real choice that you make. And while you can make the choice by yourself, you should probably listen to the other people on your team on which one you should be capping next.
And that's probably a good example of one of the high points you want to be testing next week in the
Yes.
PTS is how is that balance currently? What
Yes.
needs to be tweaked or doesn't need to,
Exactly.
So, okay, that's cool. Good to know. Because the assumptions, as soon as a trailer goes out, I understand how the internet works. Assumptions are made immediately.
Yep.
A, it's just capture the flag. Boring.
Yep.
B, one of the offerings is clearly going to be the better one, so that's what everyone will use first, and it'll just be stomps all the way.
Yeah.
And C, it's going to be Shinobis all the way. It's going to be all Shinobi teams, and that's all you can win.
You're more than welcome to make a full Shinobi team if you want.
Yeah.
I want to play against you if you do. And we'll have a diversified team, and we'll have a couple of tanks on our side, and we'll have an assassin, and we'll have a couple of vanguards. Good luck. That's all I can say. It's not just about speed. Right. It's about being able to defend your stuff. It's about being able to keep it. So it's not just, I got the flag and bring it back. Yeah, well.
It was designed with team balance in mind.
It is. It's
so I'm sure someone out there in the PTS will immediately make a team of all Shinobis, like, haha, guys, show you. But that's not.
But at the same time, that's part of the public test, right? Exactly. We want to see. We've played a lot, but the community will play a lot more in the few days that they'll have.
Yeah, it's the same thing Roman always says about testing balance is like we test.
Yes, we test.
With maybe hundreds, but then the first hour it's out.
You have more.
Thousands hitting on a character, so it's like just the volume of feedback you get is so much better right away. Cool. I feel bad. We haven't had a chance to talk to you yet. So
okay.
We thought we would explain to you all the rules and objectives and everything through the context of the game. So let's jump into that now, and you can kind of step us through all of that.
Exactly. Just so it's a little bit less dry than me talking. I'm going to show it on the screen at the same time.
All right. And something else we should say, Damien. So this is our public test build. The way we do build for these things is we branch off of the different builds that the team is working on. And this particular PTS build is built off of our next patch, which is not out yet. That'll be out in October. So you might see some things that are exciting to you.
Some surprises.
You might see some surprises.
We won't discuss about those
Consider that
today.
a little preview of our next patch if you do catch little things here and there that seem different. There is, I think, there's one thing in particular we will talk about because it's specific to this mode that's different. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But that's just for your knowledge. So when you are testing the PTS next week, that's another exciting thing for you. You get to test an early version of the next patch. So you'll see some additional things.
I don't think I'm the one on the screen right now, though.
Start.
Yes, so we've
it's
got Guillaume's screen right now.
you.
Okay, so first off, let's go in order. So first off, the match starts.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Even before that, Classic Pascal wants me to explain to the viewers what's going on. We have 2 teams of 4.
Yeah.
We have the 2 guys here on the couch with us, and we have 6 other people up in our lounge on their teams. So all human beings right now.
Okay, so first off, as you saw, 30 seconds after the beginning of the match, the offerings are going to spawn. 3 of them spawn at the same time, and they're always going to spawn in the same spot, whatever how many times you play the map, it's always the same spots.
Yep.
So first thing you want to do is go grab a flag. It's a simple interaction, 1.2 seconds. This interaction, it has the same behavior as the revive interaction, whereas any hit or any displacements or stuff like that are going to interrupt it.
And to be clear, at this point, this is just a neutral, plain offering. It's not. This is not tied to a specific blessing or specific shrine.
So while it's on my back, my goal is to bring it back to one of my shrines and pick one of the blessings I want. You can also notice I have a speed debuff, which is something people asked quite a bit about.
Yes.
The speed debuff we have is 28%, which makes a shinobi, Shigoki is going to be able to catch a shinobi that has an offering.
Yeah. Good to know.
And all your feats and abilities that will improve your speed are going to work even if you have the speed debuff, but it's still going to be applied to you.
Okay.
So after you get an offering, let's talk about the different blessings you can choose. So first off, you can choose the Guardian's Blessing. So simple interaction, 3 seconds to put it in.
So we have some visual bugs, still work in progress, but
oh yeah, you can see
you will still be able to play it, which is the
for sure.
of the.
So first off, you can see on my character, I have a visual feedback to see which blessing I picked. You can see in the game widget up top which I picked. The Guardian's Blessing, it gives you a 25 HP shield. It's going to regen every 25 seconds, and it's an instant regen, so it comes back all the way. And the last thing it gives you is that it's going to be a lot harder for the other team to steal your offerings. So it's the time to steal them is going to be 25% longer.
And by stealing, we don't mean picking them off the ground. We mean the ones that are already capped are harder. It takes longer for you to steal them, basically.
Actually, you can come in the base and steal one.
Yeah. Let me do that.
So the stealing mechanic is an interesting one as well.
Yes, this is basically, the stealing is what creates all these momentum shifts and all those comebacks.
Yeah. Because you can steal as simply as hitting them with a light attack, right?
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So I can show that part?
Yep. So as you can see, the interaction to steal it is going to be quite long because, oh, that's not you. That's one
of the other guys.
Amazing. So,
all right. So you can see he's stealing
it's
our
much longer
flags.
than it was.
And we lose the blessing.
And as soon as you take, the blessing is lost. And the blessing is for the whole team as well.
Yeah.
We haven't said it, but of course it goes to the whole team.
Yes. So let's show that second blessing, the Vindicator's Blessing. This one is going to give you a 25% damage boost, and it's going to make your stealing speed a lot faster. So it's 25%, the same as Guardians, so they cancel each other out if both teams have them.
So if Guillaume follows me, we'll be able to show this little detail.
Oh yeah, you're in the middle.
Yeah, Valkyrie's not the fastest, but just gonna put that in there.
Activate this. And the last buff that's given by the Vindicator's Blessing is that your speed when you're carrying an offering is the debuff you get is actually a lot milder. So it's only 10% speed debuff when you have the Vindicator's Blessing.
Cool.
So if I steal it, it's a lot faster because I have it.
So that's 25% faster. Cool.
Yes, exactly. And the last one, which is the Awareness Blessing.
The Oracle's Blessing.
Yes, the Oracle's Blessing. It's going to give you basically awareness over the enemy team. So first off, it's going to show the icon for every enemy player in the world, and you're going to be able to see an outline also showing you where these characters are. So it's very useful to plan an attack and see who's defending, if they're attacking your base and you should be defending. We're going to see it right away when I put it in. So you can see, oh yeah, there's actually quite a bit of enemy players in my base. And it's also interesting to note that they're going to be visible on the radar, whatever the distance is. And if they pick up an offering, the little white icon you see on the radar, it's going to be colored the color of the enemy teams, and you're going to be able to find their carrier super quickly.
Let me show you
Maybe
that.
you can show you.
Yep.
And for people just tuning in, we're just doing this right now to explain all the rules and objectives. We're going to do a real match after you get the base of all the objectives.
Let me be away from you. So
Yes.
This is not us showing you the game in real action.
So as you can see, I see the icon on the radar wherever he is, so I know where to concentrate my efforts.
Cool.
It makes it a lot easier to do some callouts and stuff like that.
One other thing that's missing right now in the mode, also in the PTS, is that the comm tools have not been updated, but they will be when the mode is released. So you'll be able to communicate without voice saying attack or defend a specific shrine, or so it will help you coordinate. Because that's one of the big things for us in this mode is definitely the fact that communication is going to be key. A team that plays together is going to be better than a team that doesn't play together.
Right. And earlier when you were talking about steals, I thought you were talking about something else. I wanted you to talk about the drop conditions. So,
Yes.
so to take it from another player who's carrying it.
So basically, any successful hit is going to make a player drop the offering, and any displacement like a throw or a
charge.
push, a stampede charge is going to make the offering drop also.
For example.
And even if you block
yes.
a heavy, it'll still drop it from
Yeah, exactly.
So you really need to parry to
Yep.
maintain possession.
Yes, and there's a disclaimer to be said about that for PTS. Some of the moves that are going to slave the characters, something like the Valkyrie leg sweep or the Conqueror's shield bash, they don't make the offering drop right now, but we're still working on the conditions to make them cleaner and work better. So some issues for PTS for this.
And another cool thing about the drop conditions that I find interesting is the super armor, like with the Shigoki.
Yes.
It'll protect you from dropping it. So that's another thing you were talking about with the balance of your teams. You might want a heavy to be
To be on your
that.
team, yeah. The feats also make a big difference. That's one thing that we noticed. A lot of feat that are not used as much in Dominion or Elimination are much more used in this mode, and that's one of the things we want to test. That I think you were going to bring up a little later on is everything that has to do with traps. All the trap feats in this mode are really, really powerful, both in defend and in attack.
Yep.
And so we've tweaked them a little bit. I don't know if we want to talk about that right now, or we want to show the match. Traps before works.
Actually, you could maybe show it off.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a trap. Okay,
So
Match is going to end though.
okay, so
You can just rematch after, it's no big deal.
I think we have time. He's got a minute 30 to find you.
Yep, I'm in the mid.
Okay, you're in the mid. Coming. So traps used to be triggered the moment you stepped in him. Now what we've done is simply, I have no sound, so I'm going to try to do this correctly.
Yeah, without
Hard to
sound.
do without sound.
You're going to hear a trigger, the trigger, and 200 milliseconds later, the effect will be applied. If you're dodging while it's just before it applies, or if you're rolling just before it's applied, you're not going to get any effect. So if you notice a trap, you can roll through it and not be affected by the trap. So,
Cool. So that's a pretty big
So
change.
you can dodge a trap now.
you can dodge a trap. So it's just to mitigate a bit the effect of the traps. The trap meta became a little crazy, so we're trying to find different ways to mitigate to play with them.
Before the match ends, I want to show the win timer that we have. So basically, if you're controlling 3 offerings, so you're controlling all of them, you're, you don't have 45 seconds left, but basically, if you control the 3 offerings, you enter a 45-second timer, and the goal for your team is to actually keep those 3 offerings for the 45 seconds, and whenever it happens in the match is going to end if you succeed in defending those offerings.
Cool.
So the steals become very important, and yeah. So last thing we didn't mention, and I think I have time to say it before it ends, you do get a penalty when you have offerings. So for the respawn, for every offering your team has, you're going to get a 6-second penalty to your respawn speed, which means if you have the 3 offerings and you get killed and executed, it gives you a 30-second respawn time versus a base respawn time of 10 seconds if you have no offerings and were not executed and stuff like that.
So it's our way to balance the offering.
Right.
The powers of the offering and the momentum you gain from the offering, and it's like, well, you should be winning. You shouldn't be dying.
Yep.
So
Cool. So we're going to jump into a real match now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hear people talking. Hilarious.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
Hopefully they're not saying terrible things. And here we go. So feel free to throw out questions. Pascal's grabbing them from the chat as we play. Let's get into it. So I have a few questions while they're loading this up. Can tribute mode be played in player versus AI?
Yes.
Of course. Yes.
The bots are pretty good at this.
Okay. That was Unbarring Apollo who asked that. Remery asks, can you toss the staff to another teammate?
Nope. But
No
interesting thing is that it's going to get dropped on friendly hits.
So if you're sort of in a scrum, be
Yes.
careful of your friendly fire.
Of course. You should be careful of your friendly fire at all time, but we know it's not exactly what happens all the time.
Unless you're set back, he hits his teammates all the time, is what I've learned from his videos. He's a bad teammate.
What a good guy.
Good guy. Yeah, let's see. Dark on Who asks, can the visual effects that display on your character be turned off, like the buff effects?
They can't be turned off right now because they're integral part of the gameplay, although it's an interesting suggestion.
Yeah. And we're having actually a new player join the field here for Stefan. So Stefan can continue to help us answer questions and stuff. So Nick is joining to kick some ass on the PC number 2 that we'll be switching between from Guillaume's PC to the other, back and forth, depending on where the action is during the match. So we're into it now, and I just want to see some other questions here.
The stealth feat does interact with the intel buff. It does. It changes a few things.
I'll just ask the question. So Spragot, how does the stealth feat interact with the intel buff?
The stealth feat is gonna override the stealth buff, although the functionality for this is not complete for TTS, so you might see some inconsistent behavior.
Okay.
But the goal is to have all the feats that influence stealth and stuff like that, and basically awareness, to have an interaction with this.
Cool.
So you can see the blue team decided to get the Guardian buff blessing right away. We're seeing that every once in a while. The main reason for that, even though having a defensive buff is not necessarily the best thing in the world, the reason for that most of the time seems to be it makes their offerings harder to steal, and so giving you more time to go and interrupt somebody who's trying to steal it. Again, it's going to depend on the composition of the team, what you're going to be doing first, that we're seeing at least. And again, all those values of how big the shield is and how big the buffs is, we want to see through the public test server and through the feedback of the players whether or not we're dead on or if we need to tweak them a bit.
Cool. If we go back to Guillaume's screen here, there's a little battle over a possible steal.
Yeah.
If you can...
Yep.
Guillaume can defend his... Oh, there we go. He's
Thanks,
got
man.
help from a teammate, even though he's dead. That'll hopefully prevent the steal there. But you can see these change pretty quickly and frenetically. It was what you were saying earlier about momentum is a big part of this mode. We've had really good feedback so far. We had a community workshop last week with 8 players who came out. They tested this among other things. They tested a bunch of Season 4 stuff in terms of the new heroes that you don't know about yet. But they also tested this, and those guys who are very competitive seem very excited about this mode in terms of the energy, in terms of the competitive aspect of it. It's really interesting and fun to watch because of that changing of the tables turn a lot in this mode, so it makes it really fun to watch. Let's see. Remery asks something that I know that comes up once in a while. Has your team considered defusing traps as an option for players?
We're looking into it right now. It's a lot more complicated than would appear, but we want to do the right design. Putting the delay is our step 1. Step 2 is how we're going to be diffusing traps. So we're looking at it.
Cool. Yep, it's all about basically rewarding the player that was able to detect a trap on the ground. Because right now, if you see it, you see it and that's it.
Right.
You have to go around or step over it. Oh.
Oh, nice deny.
That'll teach me to talk.
Yeah, I know. You were
Nice
looking at me as you
deny.
talked. I was like, you shouldn't be doing that.
I was too confident. I was way too confident.
Oh, here's a good one. Dark Hunter VX. What is the reward in Tribute Mode? Pascal, ask this question.
So for the rewards, it's same system as any other mode, so you gain XP, steel and all, and it's based on the average playtime of the game mode. I think it's close to what we give in Elimination,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the exact numbers, but it's something around that.
And 156th asks, is there a limit to how many times you can be revived?
No, we're not capping the revive in this mode right now. If we were ever to do a realistic version, maybe we would cap, but right now there's no caps.
Right. I think this is a Damien question. I think what they're getting at in this question is, will there be different effects for placing an offering on a shrine? I think they mean like that you can buy. Is that what they're talking about?
Or they're talking about the blessings. We're looking at having different blessings, but right now we're coming out with 3 blessings only, the 3 that we've mentioned. We might come up with more later on, and depending on how we do stuff.
And the blessings visuals are not customizable.
No.
Not yet.
That's not planned.
Okay, this is a really good question because we didn't get into this. Is Kurzi, what happens when the time runs out with no win conditions, no clear winner?
So we only if time runs out and there's a tie, so either 0-0 or 1-1, we go in overtime. And overtime, you can win the overtime by breaking the tie. And breaking the tie is very peculiar in our game, in Tribute, because if it's 1-1, breaking the tie may mean stealing a flag, an offering. If you steal an offering, then it's 0-1, the tie is broken. And you have a little bit of win confirm time, but if you don't do anything really quickly, you lost the match.
So effectively sudden death in overtime.
It's sudden death, but
with a tiny bit of time for you to save yourself.
Exactly. So yeah, it's not necessarily about capping an offering, but it could be about stealing an offering. So you have to be careful.
Cool.
And yeah, and you can win if the timer runs out and it's 1-0. You won, right? You don't have to win with 3
Right. You don't have to
offerings.
take all of them.
No.
Pascal, we already answered that other one. The stealth feat one. Cool. So this is our two captains duking it out right now.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, this is the map that we've probably played this mode the most on, because that was one of the maps that was in development at the same time as we were making the mode, so we were able to do whatever we wanted to the map. So Guillaume should know this map by heart. And of course, that also involves him plunging to his death. He knew there was a hole there.
Yes, I knew there was one.
Situational awareness.
Yeah.
Is the giant barrel in play?
Nope, it's not in there.
Yeah.
It's not in there.
For this mode, it is not in play.
We have, just to answer the question, from Condora93. No, you can't drop the offering.
You can't manually set it down.
No, exactly. You have to be hit to drop it, or you have to interact with one of the shrines to drop it.
But I guess you could
place it.
collude with your teammate to hit
Oh yeah,
you.
you can always be asked to be hit.
Zach, Gen 1 or L? Can you take one of your own flags and switch the blessings after it's capped?
Nope. Once it's capped, it's capped. So you can wait for somebody to steal it, then grab it back from them and deposit it somewhere else. Again, we were trying to keep to a minimum the complex interactions.
Yeah. If you missed the top of the show or if you're just tuning in, very important for you to be aware of this mode, this new mode we're talking about. The reason we're talking about it is because we are testing it next week on a PTS on PC. So starting next Thursday, the 21st, through the 25th. You, PC players, Uplay and Steam, can play this yourself, and we really want you to, because we really want your feedback. All of these kind of softer parameters that we're mentioning in terms of like basically that affect the balance, those are the things that the team wants to have your feedback on. So we want you in there and giving us as much feedback as possible. So please do get ready for PTS. You can preload next Tuesday. Struck Sage or Struxage. Is there going to be a way to get your health back in this game mode?
Feats. Right now, one of the feedback we want is exactly that. Right now, there's no healing zones or heal boost or anything like that in the mode. We want to see if putting the onus on the players and having somebody on your team or having yourself choosing a heal feat is something that's interesting. Then depending how the feedback will come, maybe we'll drop some boosts in the map. Although I'm not so sure it's a good or a bad idea.
No.
So we're running out of time. It's 2-1.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was trying to save some time.
That was a
and,
pretty hectic battle, though, over that one.
I was just trying to distract them away from the shrine so we could steal one.
We'll see if the orange team can defend or steal that last flag, which is something we see a lot, actually. There's not a lot of time left. Instead of fully defending, one person sneaks back to the base, steals the third offering, and brings it back, and causes the game to end that way instead.
Well, let's see if Guillaume had 10 seconds. Can Guillaume save his team?
That's not happening.
See, they're doing a good job of defending their shrines.
Eat this.
And as far as the question of the priority between picking up a flag and
good job.
And reviving, reviving is priority over picking up the flag. Unless you're really close to the flag, in which case it switches.
Probably
Pascal.
just had the worst match I've ever had. So nice.
I think we should play another one.
We can play another one.
We're getting a good flow of questions. So it seems like we have enough time to keep playing and keep answering questions of people like that. So let's do it.
I'll try to redeem myself. That was pretty shameful.
Let's see. So we answered that one. We answered that one. If you're a Bob VDV, if you're breaking, does the breaking team spawn close to the shrine?
No, the spawning locations is based on proximity of other players and of offerings.
Okay.
So it's not based on who's winning and who's losing and whether or not you're in win confirm or trying to deny the win.
Cool. Aha, here's a good designy question
Yes.
from Bulk Bella. Why not make the shrines work like Dominion zones where they heal if not contested?
That's way too powerful. We've played around with that kind of idea. It caused a few issues. One of the issues was you'd have to define the zone. You'd have to have a zone drawn on the floor. It cluttered a bit the understanding of the players. And the other thing that happened is that it gave you so many reasons to just turtle down, right?
It's hard to win it back, right?
Exactly. I'm just going to sit on this, and if I manage to kill you, then it doesn't matter. I just heal back.
Yeah.
So in the interest of keeping the flow of the match stronger, we decided to go against that. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to change our mind. We want to see what happens. But right now, the way the flow is, and we want it to be a very fast-paced, turn around quickly, kind of game mode, it kind of defeated that idea.
It was making the mode very static.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Once again.
1N5T4, terrible username. Am I missing? Is that like leet speak that I'm missing? I can't. Where can we play Tribute? Will it be in Deathmatch or Dominion, or will it have its own section?
It'll have its own section. It's a new game mode, so it's going to be under the objective game mode. The quote-unquote Dominion front is going to be renamed Objective.
Oh, cool.
And it'll be
Battle.
It's Battle?
Battle.
Okay. Battle.
That makes sense.
Battle.
It'll be under Battle.
Simple, sweet.
Just like you, Damien.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're anything but simple. You're very complex
simple and
individual.
sweet. Okay. It's not too bad.
We answered this, but Spragut asks, will there be overtime for someone carrying a flag?
I think I understand what he's saying. He's talking about keeping the ball alive like in basketball or football, as long as the ball is not down.
I see.
Not for carrying, but we are playing with the idea. It's not going to be in the public test server, but it might be in the final mode, keeping the match alive as long as there's an interaction going on. So if you're trying to steal a flag or place a flag, we're looking at a way to keep the match alive at that point.
Sweet.
So sometimes you see a red effect on your character, So it means that somebody's stealing one of your offerings.
It's trying to. Yeah, they're trying to steal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the pinpoint. So see,
Oh, okay. Oh,
he was stealing it, so you were seeing
So it's
that.
sort of a little
that
callback
red
to your
effect.
shrine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, we're gonna have a win confirm. Oh, interesting.
Ah,
So win
okay.
confirm is on.
So orange team really needs to
So they have 45 seconds
To steal a
steal
flag.
one of the flags.
At least one. They steal all three. Well, fantastic.
Oh my god.
and Guillaume just set down a trap,
Yes.
as Stefan was saying. Is
I think we're safe.
I don't know. Let's see what Nick can do. No pressure. Oh, you've already
far.
lost one.
Oh.
Oh, they lost one already.
Teammates! What are you doing, teammates?
Everybody was centered around one flag instead, one offering
Yeah.
instead of being spread out and making sure the other two. So
You got cocky, Guillaume.
yeah,
I did.
there's a question about from Misguided Monk about the game mode being to be single pick. Not initially, because we want to make sure that people can play what character they want to play. But if we were to do ranked or tournaments, then it would be single pick.
Yeah, and I think that's a good answer because it's more of a broader question for the game itself,
Yeah.
right? Like, why is the game not single pick? And that's sort of the stance. And where we draw the line is in the more competitive modes.
Yeah, that's when we.
And I think it's a good feedback we can have on the public test about that
Absolutely.
subject specifically.
Yep.
If people find ways to exploit the mode, something we can reconsider.
No. Oh, okay. Akiraktu. Will the shrines always look like Viking shrines, or are there night-themed shrines as well?
There-
Will
it's a
ask, since he
Viking
didn't
mode.
ask, are there also samurai-themed ones?
They're based on the map.
Okay.
Right. If it's a samurai map, then it's going to be Viking. If it's a knight, then it's going to be no. I'll go with the map itself
So the Warner Viking maps. so
That's a good
fine.
question.
because Vikings.
And I think it's the same for the flags.
No, the offerings.
No,
There's one
always
offering.
the same.
Yeah, with the little flame.
And the snake.
Blue Moon. What about execution bonus points? Do you not get any score like an elimination with short executions?
Since it's not score-based,
Right.
you don't get more points for doing executions.
But
Speaking of that, do you want to show the scoreboard?
Yes.
Because you mentioned the
So this scoreboard, it has 2 new columns, which are claims and blocks, and you can notice we removed the deaths. So claims are for any flags that are going to be captured or stolen, and blocks are for any capture or steal that are going to be interrupted by your character. So it's just to show you what was your contribution in terms of objective. You can see mine is null.
Not so great. Not so great.
I've been a roamer, that's why. That's why.
And going back on the execution, it still has a really good value because you're making you still have the respawn time longer when you execute someone.
And you can't be revived, which is
Yeah.
Reviving in this game mode actually plays a bigger role, I find, than other modes. Because you don't want to. If we're winning by 2 flags, I don't want to make you wait 20 seconds before you come back. I'd rather, if I'm able to revive you, then you're back in the action faster.
Yeah. Picard W. Will there be any minions in the map in this mode?
Nope.
Okay.
No, it's a minion free.
Done.
There's none.
Trinity Big Dragon. What if an offering carrier gets pushed off the map?
The offering will fall onto the nav mesh, the closest point that it is.
Nav mesh.
The ledge.
That's
It's it'll stay on the map. Don't worry. It'll be
stays
dropped
on the
and
map,
stay on the
it's
map.
the
It will
closest to where they
last
fell off.
forever.
So the closest to where they fell off, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh my God! Look at this name. What a terrible name. So I think people create accounts just to hear me read them on. My cheesy nip. My cheesy nip. Pascal's confused. Nip is a nipple, Pascal. You have 2 of them, supposedly. My cheesy nip asks, what if someone on your team put a shrine down? I think they mean offering.
Offering, yeah.
Everyone on that team gets full health back. Have you considered this?
So I think they're trying to find ideas to
To the hell
I
back.
love
People seem
that.
concerned about
I love
health.
that. Yeah.
It's one of the things we consider.
It's one of the things we looked at. It can be very, very powerful or totally useless. because giving your team back full health is very time. If we're almost all full health, I don't want to waste it. But at the same time, do I want to run around with the offering until? So I'm not. We're never saying no, but it's something we'll have to look at in more detail. I understand everybody's worry about health, but it's something we need to look at deeper and see.
And it makes the fights more dangerous.
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
So it's also bringing something interesting. So,
Oh, missed my parry.
Basketball King 03, which is Pascal's alt account, will feats that give you attack buffs stack with the Vindicator attack buff?
Yes.
Okay.
Easy.
good question.
Good, easy question. Simple answer.
Oh, here's an even easier, more broad one from Kill Rhoda. Do blessings give buffs, and what kinds?
Yeah, Guillaume was
I
talking.
assume you've just joined the chat and you missed talking about it. We can talk about it again.
Yeah, we can talk about it again. Broadly speaking, your Vindicator blessing is a attack buff, so it makes your attack. It gives you a buff to attacks. It gives you a buff to speed when you have the flag. And it makes stealing flags easier, offerings easier from the other team's base. The defensive gives you a shield. So Guardian Blessing is a defensive buff. So it gives you a shield, a regenerating shield, a small one, but a regenerating nonetheless. Makes your stealing your offerings harder, so longer time. And the Oracle Blessing is an awareness blessing. So no attack or defensive buffs, but rather more visual. It reveals more all the players on the map and stuff like that.
Going back on the Guardians 1, what happens when your shield goes down?
It's a regenerating shield. After a certain amount of time, it comes back.
That's pretty sweet.
Did you see
It's
that?
a nice shield.
But they didn't because they weren't on your screen.
That's
the
too
chat
bad.
will not know your amazing placement.
The other fun thing to do is any range feats are super useful. Because somebody running away with an offering, getting an axe to the back, will drop the flag and the offering, and sometimes they don't notice, which is even funnier. They keep on running, and they're about to cap, and they're like, "Why am I not getting the B button?" And it's like, you left the offering half a kilometer back, so.
So 19 seconds. No shrines are currently enabled,
yes.
so it could go into overtime.
This is going to go in overtime.
Stop him! Oh no, that's your
only-
teammate. Sorry. Help him! Help him!
To answer Icar W, the only maps that are being used for this mode
Oh,
are
right at the end. Right at the end. I'm sorry.
What is this?
Orange. I was watching that. So orange and blue were both. I could see it filling up. They were both planting offerings. Something
same
happened on
time.
the blue side, but orange got theirs.
I'll give this 2 stars.
That was amazing. Good question from Hikar W. Are all Dominion maps and elimination maps supported in this game mode?
only elimination maps.
And that's another thing that's big for testing.
For the moment.
is
For the moment,
balance.
yes.
For public tests.
For public
And,
tests, it's only
maybe
it's only the smaller maps. We need to obviously to go back and to look at exactly how we're going to do the largest map.
Yep.
Hey, looks a lot of people.
Look, we're all here. Cool. Because that's another thing you want, right? Is the feedback.
Yeah, it's feedback.
Yeah,
on
How
the
do these
maps.
maps feel in the mode? Do they
Are they
feel
balanced? Is
Right.
there? We want to see. We're going to be generating what's called heat maps to see where
yes.
people die. See the win-loss ratio of different maps depending if you're attacker or defender. We want to make sure the maps are as balanced as possible. Even though sometimes the perception might be that the maps are imbalanced, we want to make sure that perception and data prove whether or not they're balanced.
Right.
Because interesting fact is that Viking Village is probably the most obviously balanced of the maps. Some of them have different heights and different a different size for the place where the shrines are. So it's the first look at it. It's always like this seems unbalanced, but this is why we need the data to make sure if the feedback is right or if it's just perception. So
Cool.
It's one of the big challenge of that mode.
Yeah.
That we need to make it compatible with existing maps.
Right.
And that's tricky.
Okay. Cool. I don't see any more questions being thrown at us by Pascal. Maybe he's upset about the nipple comment. So now I think we're done for now. I just want to recap again. Next week, starting Thursday, actually you can preload on Tuesday on Uplay. PC players could do PTS, public test of this mode Tribute. And we really want you to. We really want your feedback because it's super fun. We've had great initial feedback. We want everyone else's feedback as well and see what we can change or tweak or overhaul before releasing it. So next Thursday, mark it in your calendars if you have one to play Tribute mode with your friends.
Doesn't have a calendar.
Yeah, probably no one has a calendar. Mark it in your brain or whatever you do.
Your phone.
Put it on Snapchat. Is that what people do? Is that what your generation does?
That's still too young for me. I'm not that young, you know.
Okay, so thank you, Guillaume and Stefan. It was great
You're
having you on
welcome.
the show. We'll have you back next time you design a mode, which you're constantly doing, right?
Yes, exactly.
All
You're
the
not
time.
done. Your job is not done after this. And we're really excited to bring a new mode to the game. Is awesome. So hopefully you're excited as well. And let us hear what you're thinking. Hopefully there's less of the prejudgments that we saw yesterday based on only a trailer and more prejudgments based on the gameplay we saw today. So thanks, guys. We're going to go into our community corner now with fun videos. We don't have Ramon this week, so we don't have answers to your various, very specific fight questions about attack timings and on specific characters and all that. So next week, I believe Ramon will be back, so we will get back to those next week. That is why we're not doing a Q&A section. I didn't have any good questions for Damien that I found on the net this week, because otherwise I would toss a bunch of online questions to Damien, but I didn't have a bunch of them. So we're gonna go to Community Corner. Thanks, guys. Actually, you want to stick around? Community Corner's fun.
Sure.
Stick around, watch some fun videos with us. So let's hit it, Max. Whenever you like.
Anytime.
Max Prune. Oh, Max.
We're back.
We're back. So, we don't have a ton of clips this week because we wanted to focus mostly on Tribute, but we got some good ones. This actually I was really psyched about. Sereniac on Reddit did this, or the Major N on YouTube, did this video taking Viking emotes and translating them so you can see what the Vikings are shouting at you every day. So let's play it.
Þessi axi á að vera þung. Ömurlegt. Bestu. Hvað finnst þér þetta? Gott. Auli. Ég trúi þess ekki. Helgi nú! Ekki allir í stuði! Auðviki! Klíma!
Good ending. You asked what Dung McGlass means, and it's our writer, Ari, who comes up a lot now whenever we talk. It is her family's war cry. Her last name is McGillivray, and their clan's war cry was Dung McGlass.
Which means?
Why don't I have a war
It's
cry
just
for
a
my
war
family?
cry. I don't know if it has a meaning. I think it was actually like a town or some village or something.
It's really
but,
badass to have a family that has a
right?
war cry.
I don't have a war cry.
Yeah.
We'll have Ari on the show one of these times because she's becoming like a legend with all these stories I'm telling. But she's the one who names all the bots, all those things, fun stuff. She was upset that you didn't realize that she names all the bots. She watched the PAX panel. She's like, does Damien know what I do? So,
to be fair, she does more than
yes, she does a lot of things. That's just one of the many things. Okay, we got another one. This is from Jay Corella on Reddit, the Lawbringer Lift Club. That makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. 8 guys got together to do that.
Yep.
All right.
Time well spent.
This was sent to me by a guy on Reddit, but I marked down his YouTube username. It's RD298. The weirdest duel round ever, which is it's a fun video. I don't want to spoil it, but it's also an interesting thing from a design perspective that you might want to consider. Let's check it out.
Six strats, some 6 strats over there.
Yeah, 6 strats indeed. So yes, that was from RD298. Now we have, oh, this one made me laugh. N7 Vanguard, wrong brand IP there. N7 Vanguard on Reddit, saved by the ballista.
Incontinent! 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 You lost Zone A.
That's what you get for going for that flashy execution, man.
He wasn't technically saved, but it was still worthwhile to see him die while he's trying to be cocky. This is a Jeef, Damien, a Jeef.
Yes.
From Tread Lightly on Reddit. I'm so sorry, hi lad. We might have to play this a couple times because it goes fast. It's trying for the death from above. Yeah.
Just missed him.
Doesn't phase the Valk. The Valk keeps fighting. It's like just dropping out of the sky. Poor Highlanders. All right, and our final one. This is a bit long, but I was actually really impressed by this. This is a cool video. It's not a funny video. This is Cheeky Waffle Gaming on YouTube. It's just called the Warden, and they made a cool like trailer for the Warden. So let's check it out.
They come to me. More and more with each passing day they come. Wardens, lawbringers, peacekeepers and conquerors. All the while our enemies wait on the borders, eager to wet their steel with our blood. They can see that we're hanging on by our last thread. And for what? An oath? What is an oath but empty words and promises? It's what they decide to do with their blades that matters. Are they thirsty for heathen blood? Are they ready to laugh in the face of our enemies, stare death itself in the eyes and scream, I am not afraid? Let them take their oath and become true knights. Be without fear in the face of your enemies. Be brave and upright, that God may love thee. Speak the truth, always, even if it leads to your death. Safeguard the helpless, and do no wrong. That is your duty. Now arise, a knight. Come on, man! For years now, the Warden has protected the people of Ashfeld, dedicated to the oath he once swore. He is weary, but he still has some strength yet. Many enemies have felt the wrath of the Warden's blade, but more still stand to be peace. This will be the Warden's final battle. Is that all you got? I am blood. I am fire. I am dead.
He's good because he's playing he's playing against his sister.
That was great. That was great. I think it was so good we should watch it again. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yes,
roll that again.
let's watch it again.
I'm just messing with you. Just messing with you guys in the chat. That was a bit longer than I remembered it being. It would be cool to see more of those types of things. Imagine that video, but with like Ice Guys playing as the Warden or something.
Yes.
That would be kind of cool to really see the slow-mo of that high-level gameplay.
Epic music.
Cool. But keep up the great content, guys. We love it to see what you create based on our game. We always share static, like fan art images or cosplay stuff on our website.
Weird pause there.
Really weird pause. I don't know. Tired. I've had lunch. On our website, This Week in For Honor is an article we do every week, and we try to share community fan art there, so you can go there and check that out. But that's it for the community corner this week, and I just wanted to give some shout outs to, I mentioned we did a workshop last week.
Yeah.
Super successful, really good feedback on upcoming characters, on tribute mode, on some of the stuff they're doing on the older characters, on time snap stuff. Like, we did a lot of stuff for those guys.
Defense meta.
Defense meta for sure.
Yeah.
So really big thanks to Asari, Alernikin, Baras, Clutchmeister, Ravelord, One, Bandana, and Henzax for coming out to Montreal and helping us out in a big way.
Yes.
I think the team really, you guys actually get to meet with them a bunch.
Yep, thanks a lot. It was very...
Enlightening?
Yes, it was very fun to have you try the tribute mode for so many hours.
It's nice when you get to be the devs of the things that they like.
Yes, that's also a
'Cause
plus.
and then for Damien, they're yelling at him about something or other, I don't know.
It's very nice.
About tournament rewards or something. But no, those are really great because they don't pull punches. You know, we're joking about, but they do give us very straight feedback on things they do like, don't like, and it's massively helpful. So anyway, shout outs to those guys. We're going to continue to do those, I believe, every season because they're really helpful.
Yep.
And that is it for the show today. So as a recap, PTS public test of Tribute Mode coming to you on PC next week on Thursday, the 21st. So hope to see you there, and we really want to hear your feedback on it. And that's it.
Realistic Dominion this weekend.
Realistic Dominion, get into it this week. There's no raffle this week because our delightful community managers are in a meeting, so they can't run the raffle for you.
That's the worst excuse.
It happens. So thanks, guys. We will be back next week for another Warriors Den. Later.
Bye.